Hi everybody, Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench. Welcome back to the channel, and this is now part 13 and the final part of the build of this CH-54A Tarhe. And believe me, it has been a mammoth build. There's been a few dodgy bits, there's been a few good bits, but overall I'm really pleased with how the thing looks. It just has such a presence. Since part 12, I've done a couple of little things. I've gone over the whole model now with a wash of black brown oil wash, and all I've done is with a smallish brush I've just gone round and just brushed it in like a blotchy pattern, and all I'm trying to do is pick up the rivets and give it a kind of blotchy look, if you like. Now what I'm going to do, if I hold this, if you look on this area here, if I hold that close up to the camera, you'll see what I mean. It's kind of highlighted the rivets, it's highlighted the edges, and it's got a kind of bit of a grimy, dusty look, like it's, you know, taken off, and it's obviously blown up lots of dirt and dust onto it and everything. And that's the kind of look I'm going for. You can see I've also done it on the stabulator here, and with the pre-shading under there and everything, and with the wash as well, you can see it's quite impressive. And what I'm going to do is I will give that a final wipe off before it's painted, and it'll get matte coated, probably after it's glued on. I've also done the wheels with the same colour wash. You can see they're still a bit wet, they're still a bit shiny, so they're going to have to be flat coated as well. And then here with these things here, what I've done, this is the Flory light dirt weathering wash. I've used that and then gone over the damp cotton bud to remove most of it, and then gone over with a black wash and then rubbed it off with a cotton bud. And I think you'll agree we've got quite a good representation of what it is. They're like holes with this mesh in behind, as I mentioned before, and that's the kind of look I'm trying to get. I'll probably give them another wash of the brown, and we'll see how it looks. Obviously now these pieces here need to be trimmed down. They're too wide to actually fit into the slots. Well, this one's okay, but this one's too wide to fit into the slots, so it needs to be trimmed down and made to fit, so sort that before you fit them. If any manufacturers are watching, this is one of my biggest bugbears with plastic kits. Will you please think, when you make parts, just think about the sprue connection points, please. I mean, this is basically a light that's going to go in. There's one in the front and there's one in the tail. I'll show you the one in the tail. So basically that is going to fit into there like that. Okay, that's going to go in there like that. There you go. Why have you put the sprue connection point on the actual visible part? The sprue connection point is on the actual light. Why didn't you put it there? Or better still, why didn't you put it on the end there and mould the part that way? Or even mould it that way so we don't have a seam line around the middle. It's just, I just wish manufacturers would think, when they design these tooling, they would think more towards it being a plastic kit than just an item. You know, that is a real simple one. So now I've got to cut that off, clean it up, polish it, get it all nice and everything, and keep it round, and then so that I can paint it with the red and it doesn't have a dark patch on it. Whereas they could have just put it on the end and it wouldn't have mattered, just cut it off the sprue and glue it in. So, and also I could have painted it on the sprue as well, but now I can't do that. So please, manufacturers, just think about things before you know, by all means, if you want to send me a drawing of your sprues before you finalise the tool, I'm willing to help anybody out for free. I don't want anything for it. Just, you know, my biggest story is always about that Revell bloody BF109 with the fuel line and the clear. They actually moulded the whole fuel line in clear because a part of the fuel line is a clear sight glass that sits just to the right of the pilot, so we can check he's got flow. And where did they put the sprue connection point? On the clear part that's going to be visible. The only remaining clear visible part, that's where they put the sprue connection point. The rest of it is all painted. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Anyway, enough moaning. So that's that all done. That's all washed and everything. I also forgot to add these little engine mounts here before. I've done that now. So they're on. We've also got to get some wash on here as well. I keep forgetting to do that. The rotor head, I painted the silver around the back as well. You can see there, painted the silver on those on that leg there. So that's all done. The rotor head has had a wash with the black, brown and some black, and then seriously gone over the cotton bud to remove most of it. And that's about it really. So I've still got the rotors over here. We've still got to assemble the main rotor. As you know, we fitted all the greeblies and bits and pieces. I've knocked the antennas off a couple of times and glued them back on, so that's good. So now what we're going to do is get these cleaned up, get them painted red, and then we're sort of, it's just really in the final assembly now. So this probably won't be a very long video, but it's definitely going to be the last one. So I've painted the main crane's hook as well, done that yellow as it should be. We've got to go around with a red brush and pick up those little ones on there. They've got to be red. So I'll see you in a minute. Here's one for all you Plastic Monkey fans out there. Look at that. It sits upside down and you can spin it around on its rotor head. It just wants to be tail happy, but it does actually balance on the rotor head. So you can actually, I've managed to do the wash underneath and everything. So that is pretty cool. Right, so I can now turn this over, put it back on its wheels. There we go. Right, so what I've done off camera, I've done those two clear red lenses you can see there, polished them up and everything. Here I've put some of the what is it? It's the Mr. Masking Solar. I've put some of that around there, and hopefully I can go in with a knife and remove it, so that will mask. So when I'm going to glue the rotor blades in, I can then spray that area in there and get a nice demarcation between the two. So I'm going to let that dry. Obviously once it loses that green colour, once it goes to like a sort of a dark translucent green, it'll be ready to be cut back or pushed back or whatever. We can also go on then, and then we can start looking at doing some dry brushing. I may do a little bit more of a wash on the engines just to get them a bit more accentuated, we shall see. And then the whole thing will get a flat coat. So I'm going to let this dry, and then I think we're going to have to look at getting the rotor together. I've also gone over these air filters with the black brown now, so we can sort of go over the cotton bud and, you know, just make it look blotchy just by doing that. Roll a cotton bud over it, make it look blotchy, and really sort of happy with how they're looking at the moment, to be honest. And I'm really pleased with how they've come out. I can just see the lighter colour wash in there with the black wash going around them, and then you've got the black brown sort of blending everything together. So we're also going to look at getting these wheels glued on. I was going to look at doing some mud and stuff on the tyres, but I think it's going to be quite difficult to make it look realistic because the tyres just don't look at all realistic, really. But we're going to have to put super glue in there, in the bore, super glue on the end of the legs, and then make sure we get them in position quickly and then get them glued. In fact, we'll do that now. Let's do it now. Why wait around? I'm going to use my favourite super glue, which is Flexi-5CA from VMS. It takes a while to go off, but it gives you some time to mess around, which is what we need here. So I'm going to put some glue inside there. Put a nice big drop in there. There we go. And then I'm going to put glue in here, and the reason I'm putting it in here and not on the shaft is because if I put it on the shaft, what will happen is as I push the wheel up, the glue will all get pushed out and it'll just ooze out all over the place. So we can lift this undercarriage leg up, push that on, make sure it's orientated correctly, and just hold that in place like that. In fact, what we could do here, isn't it, is let's put it upside down again. Yeah, now because of that weight of that wheel, it is actually orientated like that. So let's get some more super glue. I'm going to put some in that bore, just like so, and then that can go onto there. And then this one here, once again we'll put glue down into the bore, get a nice big drop in the end there. I should imagine these are going to break off because of their design. we go. Then that's going to go onto there. That's unusual. It's drying very quickly. Normally this glue takes quite a while to dry. It's actually starting to go already on that one. Yeah, that front was solid as well. So we'll leave those to dry, and then we'll come back and do something else. Right, so I've gone around and cut that. You can see, just gone with the knife, cut it, pull it away, and it peels away beautifully. And now we've got the green parts masked, as you can see, and then we can spray the black. It doesn't need to be a perfect demarcation, because once the washes and everything are on there, you won't really see it. So I started fitting the rotor blades and then realised you probably want to see it. So what I've done, I've just removed some paint from those little areas in there. And what we're going to do is just slide that in there, just push it up so it goes up to the end so you don't have a gap there. And then just come in with our cement and just touch. And on the bottom, just touch. And there we go. And just make sure that has gone finally all the way in. And there we are. It's as easy as that. Just do one more. Just push it into the end. Just touch the glue in there. And touch the glue in there. There we go. Just like that. So I'll do the other three, and then we'll see what it looks like when it's on the main frame. And there we go, guys. Doesn't she look lovely? She's absolutely huge. So all I've got to do now is get some paint in there, and that's our rotor head pretty much done. I think I'm going to do some dry brushing all over the thing as well, just to sort of try and enhance the detail a bit, but not go too mad. I've seen people do dry brushing on videos and they just go absolutely crazy, and it's just ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, if you look here, let's get these. I keep lifting up these air filters on, I drop them again. If you look here, I've dry brushed the steps, and you can see it's just very, very, you know, it's just the tiniest hint of them being, you know, just the paint's just been worn off a little bit. It doesn't need to be like, you know, bright bloody silver or something. And for those of you that want to tell me that I'm determined to break this thing, that these should be black, I've looked at Vietnam pictures and they were definitely green. It looks like in later years they've been painted black with some sort of grit, probably due to health and safety concerns. But it looks like in Vietnam they were green. So there we go. So I guess I need to get this painted black, get some more wash on these rotor blades and stuff, get the gloss on the bottom and get those decals on like we said we're going to do, and then we'll come back and see how everything looks then. Alright, so we've done the black paint, we've gone over with the rubber black. I've then put in you can see what the glossy areas here, if you can see that's glossy, there you go, ready for the decals to go in. And I've removed the film, and you can see this is the stuff here. It's very easy to remove. It's like a latex almost, and very, very easy to remove. So that's that all done. So we're ready now to move on and start looking at, I just want to make sure I have got all of it off. I mean, it'll just come off that easily anyway, anytime. If you notice it in 6 weeks time, it'll still just peel off easily. So we're ready now to wait for that to dry. I'm going to paint these indicators here white. I was going to do one blue to show it's faulty, but the thing is the helicopter is quite new, so I'll just do them white, and then we'll go from there. I need to find some pictures of these actually, because it may be that the whole dome is white, or it might just be the very end of them is white. But there we go. So we can get this white cloth out of the way, and then once we've got our decals on there, we can start thinking about washes and dry brushing and stuff like that. So I'll see you back in a minute when we're ready to put the decals on. Okay, so while we've been away, got the air filters on. They're quite easy to do. You've got these brackets in between. As I said, need thinning down. Everything's glued on. I've given it all, pretty much all of it, a flat coat. We've got the stabilator on the back now, and that's had a flat coat. You can see it's got a slight sheen. So all I've got to do now is let that all dry, and then I'm going to give it another little wash. But before we do that, I'm going to get all the masking off. I've flat coated all the rotor blades. Those decals have all gone in lovely. So yeah, we're on the real home stretch now. So I will see you in a minute to do a final reveal. Just one thing I forgot to say, guys. These indicators on here, they are all white, so I'm going to paint those as well, so you'll see them when I've done them. I'm going to paint them white and then give them a wash afterwards, because they do look like they're sort of like a white peg in like a glass outer or something. So we'll see how they come out. Alright, see you in a sec.